How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward, and as I promised you, I'm going to continue bringing you incredible people from my community who are making my community better, pointing to my community, and the things that we're talking about on our channel throughout the week. People who are actually doing those things. That's why we talk the way we talk, because we see it in action. It's not just something that we sit around and do just for likes and views. We're speaking about real life experiences. And this young lady here is one of the examples that I'm talking about when we're on our channel talking about community work. Staying in your lane, doing what you do, make sure you point into your community from your heart. And this is Nicole Everett, my good friend, and she has literally dedicated herself to making this Tallahassee community better. For years, how long have we known? It's been a while.
Yes, was it Waffle and Brews that we actually met in person? I think.
It might have been. It been so many things that have happened. So it's
Right.
been it's been it's been a while, but you've been genuine from the beginning, the same person from the beginning, pointing to our community from the beginning, and anything you can do, you just do it. So once again, appreciate everything that you do for this Tallahassee community. So who is Nicole Everett?
Nicole Everett is a daughter, a sister, a mother, a rattler, FAMU, a Leadership Tallahassee member, a believer in God through Christ, a lover of family, a lover of community, a lover of people, conversations, mental health, awareness. Um, yeah, that's a Miami girl, beach lover, lover music, dancer, all the things.
Right. Right. So, but I love that because you're multifaceted and you find different ways to give back to the community, and that's one of the things that we are going to get deep into in this interview is the different ways you give to the community, but your why is important. You do things from the heart. You get up even when you don't feel like getting up. Sometimes you're up and you're at it. I'm looking on Facebook. I'm looking on Instagram. It's 8 in the morning. You out in the community. I'm like, I just got up and you're out getting it. So what's your why? Why do you get up and pour into this Tallahassee community?
So my why is just because of who I am. I am a giver, a server. I believe that we actually all are here to love and serve, but I take that to heart specifically. My why has to do with my ancestors. It has to do with me standing on their shoulders, uh, like literally, because having traveled to Africa, to Ghana specifically, and walked through the slave castles and saw where potentially my ancestors. I don't know, specifically about them walking through there, but I can imagine them walking through there, and my ancestors survived because I'm here to tell about it, right? And so from that point to this, I wake up every day excited and ready to see what I can do to contribute to the world and make it a little bit better than I found it.
So I'm going to come back to your experience in Africa because
Yeah.
that's significant, and I'm glad you mentioned that. But I want people to know about conversations with Nicole, and then we come back to Africa. So a platform that you built over 10 years ago. I think is a great platform. One of my favorite podcasts that I watch on a regular basis. Because it's a whole lot of stuff on YouTube, but
It is.
but I'm subscribed to come across my thing, and I'm watching it on my TV. So tell the people what Conversations with Nicole is and why you decide to create your platform.
Sure. So, Conversations with Nicole is a talk show focused on community connection, coming up on a decade. And we started as a podcast, a vlog, if you will, back in 2016, focused on community. I really, to be honest with you, got tired of seeing black folks on the news, all the corruption that they show, right? And so I wanted to show positive stories of us doing great and wonderful things. And in 2016, we shot about 25 episodes. At the time, I was working at the state, and Gerald, who's been with me since day one, uh, I actually asked him to show me how to do a video on my phone. I was gonna do this video blog show, and he was like, we're gonna do it right." And so he already had his production company with lights and mics and cameras and such. And so he would get to the restaurant Nefertari, shout out to the Denards, and set up about 30 minutes before time for the interview. Me and my guests would arrive. We get mic'd up, order our food, and then have the conversation. And when the food came out, we would end it. But we would highlight the food. I wanted to promote Nefertari's. I wanted lunch to continue. And so that was the beginning. And we have evolved to 14 seasons, hundreds of shows. Now on live, doing live broadcasts on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. that focus on mental health and wellness in black and brown communities, a radio show on 96.1 that's community focused, a 30-minute radio show, and also a segment on Hallelujah 95.3 on Michael Cork's morning show. So that's just a little bit about Conversations with Nicole. We also started doing our own events, which were women focused, and now I've partnered with Sonia Benson, also known as Sonia B, who is a licensed, a certified sexologist rather, and intimacy coach. So we are now Cocktails and Conversations. So we do women's wellness events that focus on sexuality and reproductive issues and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit about Conversations with Nicole. We do hosting and emceeing and facilitating of conversations and moderating and some voiceover work and a little bit of production work. So yeah.
Look, if you need a host, because I know I like hosting too, but if you need a host, she does it. Like
No.
no, but so so let's get into that because you're not just using conversations with Nicole as just a talking platform. You're able to evolve in it, and like you say, you have things that branched out because you business minded as well. So
Yes.
people need to understand that podcasting isn't just about sitting in front of the camera and talking. Like, could you kind of give some insight on the business behind the camera and how you can work that and make that grow?
Yeah, so I don't think I was as serious about it initially.
Me neither.
That first season, really, and I didn't share this, but how it got started, how Conversations with Nicole got started was Nefertari's offering lunch, me wanting to promote lunch so people would come buy lunch so it would continue to exist.
Right.
And so for me, that looked like inviting people to join me for lunch, taking pictures of us, taking pictures of the food, and posting it on Facebook. So I did that from May of 2015 through December of 2015 and didn't realize the impact that it was having on folks in terms of them checking out the post because while I was out at winter holiday gatherings, people were giving me grief about having not invited them to Nefertari's for lunch. And so again, I didn't really think of it in that way, but a girlfriend saw it and was like, "You need to do this blog." And I meditated and prayed on it and thought, okay, I think I can do this. And so, having talked to Gerald, him being in agreement, having talked to the Denars, them being in agreement with us using space, all I needed was the permission. And it's like, do it, right? I have no journalism background, but
Right.
I do enjoy talking to people.
Right.
And so, I think after we completed that first season, I had a focus group of community folks, some of which had been guests on the show, and wanted to know what their thoughts were about it. Is this something that you think can be on television? Is this something that you think people will
Right.
sponsor? And they all said yes. And so I had some early donors, a couple of sponsors or advertisers. And then it just kind of built from there. So where I've had title sponsors that have, that have bought into an entire season of
Right.
conversations with Nicole, which included, their branding on the front and the back end of it. It then, well, before we even get to that, now I'm thinking bigger, larger, right? So now I need a theme song, and I need, I kind of all had a logo. Like I was working
Mm-hmm.
that part like simultaneously in the beginning, but yeah, I'm on my second theme song now. But I have like branding, shirts and
Mm-hmm.
mugs, and I got banners and even more things that I want to do with it. But yes, it's a business. So yes, bank accounts, so, social media,
Mm-hmm.
separate social media, and all of the things, and paying contract people to do contract work. And so yes, it is a business. It is very much so a business.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand what really goes on behind the scenes and how late you be up at night. And when you got a small team, how much you have to do yourself with,
Absolutely.
and social media is just a whole nother
That is a
beast.
full
Like,
time job.
oh Lord.
Full time
so,
job.
so how did that get you into the hosting lane? Because every time I look up, you hosting something, and that's a good thing. That's a great problem to have because there are I noticed between you and Keith Rogers, y'all are like the two main hosts in the city. So how did that come about?
Yeah, I think just the visibility, being at different events, and folks approaching you about hosting or emceeing their events. I recently did one that was a relationship panel, and it went very well. But I thoroughly enjoyed moderating that discussion. It was three men, three women talking about relationship, especially from their vantage point. Some of them were divorced and single. Some were single, never married. Some were married, and so yeah, I think that just it kind of comes naturally in some regards if you're hosting the show, asking questions, leaning into the topics or what have you, doing that publicly
Hmm.
at different spaces, venues with various organizations and groups. So yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
No, but a black owned business is happening. Right? That's because that's what we're talking about. But we're
Right.
also talking about you taking your talents and skills that you have and using it to make the community better. Because if you all notice when she's talking, it all connects back to the community, and that's that's grateful. I'm grateful for that because once again, you're from Miami. You don't have to do this for the Tallahassee community, but you do this for the community, for FAMU, for all the people around here. So just thank you, thank you for everything
My
that you do.
pleasure. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, no problem, no problem, no problem. So what's what do you see conversations, or where do you see conversations with Nicole like in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, what are some, and you don't have to give all your secrets, but just some ideas you have for growing your platform.
So definitely more interviews. I want to move beyond Tallahassee. I mean, I've done some interviews outside of Tallahassee, but definitely expanding regionally and nationally for that matter. I mean, Tallahassee has been a great training ground, and we
Hmm.
get a lot of talent that comes through here. And I look for those
Yeah.
opportunities to, interview your Joe Torres, your Soledad O'Briens, your Anthony
Hmm.
Hamiltons, your Commons,
Right.
like your caller Hayden, who's the librarian of
Hmm.
Congress. All of these folks I've had conversations
Right.
with, and it's been fabulous. And looking for more of those. But also, I would love to do more production work, more hosting. Definitely am looking to have a studio, like my own studio, because we have used this Tallahassee community as our studio.
Yes.
Not only Nefertari's, but we've been at the Stryker studio to produce
Hmm.
the show. We've been to the Union Bank. We've utilized several of the restaurants in town. We've utilized the Airbnb. We've utilized some of the hotels. So we've been in a lot of places and spaces.
Hmm.
Over our tenure here, but I would like to have our own studio
Yeah.
space that we could shoot in and do some different set
Hmm.
designs and things of that nature. So this is just a little bit of what we're planning for in the future.
No, that's amazing. always having that outlook for yourself. But all of that, like I said, all of that is coming because of the things that you've done for this community. But the seeds that you've planted, those things are coming back to harvest, and you're gonna get everything that you need.
Well,
So,
thank you.
I'm gonna charge my audience to do this, right? Because I want my audience to understand that, because you said if you want to keep it, you have to support it.
Yes, if you listen, Working Class Wednesday, my brother Terrence L. Barber, we say if you got to support what you want to keep. If you want to keep it, you got to support it. So, and that support looks like a lot of different things, right? It could be monetary support, but it could be speaking a good word about whatever it is or whomever it is. It could be subscribing to their channels or their platforms, right? Sharing their platforms or channels. So it looks like a lot of different things. Yes.
So you all go to Conversations with Nicole, hit that subscribe button. Gonna get that drop down menu, hit that notification bell, and so you make sure that you support the channel and things that she has going on. And she, reach out, connect. But no, because it's like content creators, especially black content creators on the YouTube, we have to work together, and we have to work together in
Absolutely.
unison. But speaking of that, because you do that well, you work no you because you're everywhere, and you're able to exist in these different realms for a reason, and of course it's who you are. So for somebody young watching, some young up and coming woman, some young up and coming man who wants to get active in their community, want to do anything in their community, they just, I want to make my community better. What advice would you give them to help them get connected in their community, but also foster these relationships?
Yeah, I would say just do it. I recently had someone on the show, and one of my questions is the best advice you either given or received. And she shocked me and said it was from me. And so I kind of vaguely recall the conversation that I had with her, but she's from Tallahassee, had left and returned, and in her returning was looking to get involved. And so she asked me about some things that she was wanting to do that she wasn't seeing in the community. And so my advice to her was to do it. Be the change you want to see. Like,
Right.
just do it. And so I know that might seem a little cliche, but really, we can spend a lot of time in the planning, in the thinking, in the dreaming, and never do it.
Right.
Right? So I think about when we first got started with conversations with Nicole. Gerald was a little skeptical about the equipment, wanted a certain kind of camera, but we shot that thing and it looks great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and so don't allow the negative thoughts, the naysayers, the whatever inadequacies you believe you may have to hinder you. Just do it. You won't know until you do it. So, yeah, again, I started out no journalism background, and that kind of haunted me for a little while with like imposter syndrome and that sort of thing. But yeah, I look, do it scared, do
No.
it,
Yes. No.
do it.
No, you're correct, because I suffered with the same thing for a while. I couldn't find my voice because I knew what I wanted to do, but I was like, I don't know if people gonna accept this. And then one day it just, you know what, forget this. We gonna do it. You gonna get this how you get it. But it turns out, just be yourself and give to that community. So, what's one of the guess your greatest rewards that you can think of from either podcasting or community work? What's one of the greatest rewards that you get from the work that you do from the community?
So my greatest rewards are when people maybe share that something that was said, something that was done benefited them. So I can distinctly recall having my guest Denise Shorter on Women Empowering Each Other. She provides diapers and wipes and formula
Right.
for women in the community. And someone saw that episode and said, I need to connect with her because I want to support what she's doing. I want to donate. I want to pour into what she's doing. And it blessed her so. And it blessed me so because had I not had her on the platform, they wouldn't have known about her and wouldn't have been able to sew into
Right.
her. And so connectivity is what Conversations with Nicole is all about. One of my mantras is that we all have gifts and talents that the world is waiting on, and we need not be sitting on these gifts, but we need to be sharing them with the world. And that's what Conversations with Nicole is all about, is sharing your gifts and talents with the world so folks can benefit from it.
Right. Connection, 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 community connection. You also are a mental health advocate. So how did you get, you're into everything. You're into a whole lot of different things, but it's good. It's a great thing though. But how did the mental health advocacy start?
So the mental health advocacy started through my connection with Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. They were one of my lead sponsors, title sponsors of the show, and I told them that mental health was something that I was interested in. They connected me with the Mental Health Council of the Big Bend. I've had the great privilege of serving on that council from 2017 to now. We hold three events in the community, one for black women, one for black men, and one for the community at large. The black and brown men and women events seek to love on our community counselors. And these are
Yeah.
folks that do not have license certification in counseling, but they are community counselors because Tyrone is going to tell you at the barbershop about that those relationships, that job, whatever's going on with him. Keisha's gonna tell you at the shampoo bowl about them kids, that man, her family members, that job that's getting on her nerves. And so we really seek to empower the folks that are hearing these stories on a daily basis that maybe even be going through secondhand trauma because they're listening to all of these stories, some of
Yeah.
which are traumatic. So we give them a list of black and brown counselors and therapists in the Big Bend. We provide dinner, we provide massages, chair massages. We provide some child enrichment if they need, that while we're hosting them. We have breakout sessions. We have clinicians available. The last event that we did, we gave away 11 counseling sessions. Yes,
Oh, man.
11 counseling sessions were given away so that they, no excuse. You can't
Right.
talk about insurance. You can't talk about you can't afford to pay. These clinicians, black and brown clinicians, are giving free counseling sessions because they want you to come and utilize their services. So we are hoping that these folks specifically will share that list with their clientele so they no longer have to bear the burden of hearing all of their stuff.
No, I appreciate that because in my office I have a list of only black male therapists. So you have black and brown, male and female. So how can we access that list?
So the Mental Health Council of the Big Bend does have a Facebook page, so it's there.
Okay.
I post it from time to time on Conversations with Nicole Facebook page, but you can also go to the Mental Health Council of the Big Bend's website, and the list is on there as well. It's Mental Health Council of the Big Bend.com, I think. Yeah.
No, I really appreciate that because myself and my coworker, we were literally just talking about it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Because, like I said, she gave me a list of the black males, but we were like, I wish we had a list of black male and female. And
Yes.
it, see, that's why I love you because you always connected with the right things and the right people, and that's why the sun gonna keep shining on you. So you just keep receiving and receiving and receiving. And once again, I wanted to do this interview because you're constantly pouring into our community. And this is one of my thank yous, giving you your flowers for what you do for the community. And I want my audience to support you and help your platform grow and pour into you as well because you're an amazing person. You do amazing things in this community, and you don't have to. You could You could like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm sitting on my couch and I'm not doing nothing today. But you don't. You get up, you get out, and you make things happen on a regular basis. And just thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. Um, what word of advice or what gem or what piece of knowledge would you like to leave with my audience, just about getting up and following your dreams and making sure that you can manifest the things that you've always wanted? Because conversations with Nicole was just an idea, and you didn't even know what a blog was. But you went from not knowing, and I didn't either when you started. I had no idea what a blog was. So like, what is a blog? And people
Right.
kept, because people kept saying podcast and blog. I was like, what's a podcast? I don't know what that is,
Right.
but here we are.
Here we
So
are.
so what word would you have for that person who is watching this and may not know what they want to do or may not know how to get started, but they know they want to do something? What would you tell them?
So I actually have several words. The first one is to know thyself. And again, that might sound a little cliche, but really know who you are, right? Not who people want you to be, not what your parents told you they thought, but really like lean into you and what inspires you, what motivates you, what you're passionate about. Like, really lean into that. I really do believe that part of conversations with Nicole is out of my, and this has been a whole evolution, but recognizing that I kind of have a counselor's heart. Like, I hold space for people. I do, I think, fairly well at listening to people's stories, not being judgmental, but also leaning in a sincere and authentic way. So know yourself, like know yourself, and then I would say once you recognize that, then tap into who that is and what you're supposed to be doing. And not that that's like a singular thing, because I think it also kind of evolves over time. No one ever could have told me I was going to be a talk show host,
Right.
right? But I love it, and I don't feel comfortable when I'm not doing it. And so I would say lean into whatever your purpose, your passion, the things that motivate you, whatever that is. And then the last thing I would say about all of that is to be consistent. Like, the thing I think that has set conversations with Nicole apart, because I've had, many people over the years saying I'm gonna start a podcast, or even started a podcast, but it was very short lived, right? And so I would say consistency is key. Consistency builds trust. Consistency builds support. Consistency builds your confidence too. Because the more you do it, the better you feel about it, and the more confident you'll be in executing. So those would be the things I'd say.
No, those are excellent, especially the know thyself, but not the what you said was key. Not what your parents told you, not what anybody else told you, but what have you really learned about yourself? That's key. And also the consistency. Um, how many? So to give people a perspective, how many like podcast days off have you taken over the past 10 years?
I don't know. I actually do take off more days now because
Doing
I'm
a lot.
doing 3 shows a week,
Right.
3 of my shows a week. And then during the regular season, that's 4 shows a week. That's a lot of shows.
But you listen to how many shows a week she's doing, right?
That's a lot of shows. And so I will take off the weeknight shows occasionally. If I have a conflict, like I have a
Right.
working class Wednesday event coming up that's out in Pensacola, so I'm going to cancel that
Right.
day.
Right.
But I will do shows Thanksgiving Eve, like Wednesday, at my mama house. We cooking, we on the show,
Yeah.
talking about what we cooking
Yeah.
or some topic or whatever the people in the comments are talking about. So I'm pretty much on. I mean, every week, unless I'm maybe out of the country or
Right.
something like that. But yeah, it's not many days off.
Right.
To your point.
Right. But and now over a 10-year period, pretty much every week you record something and you post something. Same with me. Like you have to do it, and if you don't do it, it's not gonna grow.
Right.
So, but once again, like, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being the person that you are, for pouring into the community, for building your platform of conversation with Nicole. Because I put a whole lot of people onto your podcast, and so they have benefited from it, and I can see that. And a lot of the people that I've introduced to your podcast have been able to connect with you, and you all have been able to foster relationships. But that's
Absolutely.
one of the greatest things that I do love about you is your intention in fostering relationships, but also connecting others so they can foster the relationships. On my channel, we talk about building community all the time, and you're
Right.
doing exactly that. Um, Big shout out to Mr. Gerald Tooks, the man behind the camera. Um, Say her name again with the We Network.
Denise Shorter.
So I want to give a big shout out to Denise Shorter. You have been very instrumental in helping a lot of the families that I've been working with in the Tallahassee community with the We Network. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because you don't even realize how many families and people that you are helping. With my last job, with my new job, just being able to connect people to what you have. Thank you to everything that you do. Thank you to the Denards. Um, Nefertars. Oh man, I miss
I
Nefertars
do
so
too.
much.
Don't even talk about it. I know. My heart was broken when they closed, but they did a great job. They still are in the community doing great and wonderful things, and I'm eternally grateful. And Conversations with Nicole will forever, or Nefertari's will forever be the launching pad, the foundation of Conversations with Nicole. So they have a very special place in my heart.
No, Dr. Denard he was the first time I looked and I saw an articulate black man who didn't sound like a white man, and I was like, "You smart. You smarter than like a million people, but you sound like me." But then when he started talking, and then I remember one class I was taking, and he showed us when they had the Arquette Academy, and they had like second graders reading on like a seventh grade level, and I'm like, "What?" But just how he taught, the way he taught, the presentation, it was like, okay, so I can be smart.
You can. Now, here's a fun fact. A fun fact. My son was in their very first class at the Arquette Center.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was phenomenal because we talking like kindergartners, right? But speaking two languages, well, three languages, English, Shui, and Spanish, knowing the all of the states and they could name all the United States, all of the capitals of the states in the United States. I mean, just phenomenal work. So it can be done. They had high expectations. They taught the children well, so it can be done.
No. Yes, yes, and just thank you because it was a great example for me, and so every time I had a chance to take his class, I did and just poured into it.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Mr. Sam Carter because we're actually in his facility, the Carter's Corner, right now, and he does a lot of. He's another example. So everybody that we're naming are boots on the ground examples of the things we talk about on this channel, and I appreciate my community. I appreciate the people that I'm able to connect with and the people who are able to pour into me. So once again, I want to make sure you get your flowers and a big thank you. And you all y'all go to her channel, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button on everything. Conversations with Nicole, support what she has, our Tallahassee community. She pours into us. Make sure you pour back into the platform. And if you don't, I'm coming for you. Now I'm just playing, but let's make sure we continue to support and love on each other. And
Absolutely.
once again, thank you for everything.
No, thank you, Joe. I really do appreciate you sharing your platform with me, and the work that you do. Sharing our history. I think history is so important. I think a lack of knowledge of history is a big part of our issues today. And so, what you do to spread the word about what those who came before us did, our ancestors, is phenomenal. And so, keep doing what you are doing. Keep teaching our young people, and let's just go out here and be great.
Let's do it. You heard it. We're going out here and be great. So you do the same thing, and we'll see y'all on the other side.